We can pass traits as parameters as well. In the earlier examples, we implemented the trait overview for both course and another course. So let's create a function that's going to call the overview method from its item parameter. So the first thing we need to do is create that function. We're going to give it the item parameter that's going to have a reference to the overview implementation. And then in here, we're just going to print out overview and then item.overview. So since we already have these two types created that implement the overview method, we can call them. So we'll call course 1, and of course we need to pass it by reference. And then we can also do this for course 2. So we run it, and we see this is a Rust course, which is course 1, and also the default implementation. And then we have our modified course, which is another Tyler, another headline. So awesome. So that's working good. But we can actually simplify the function. And what we can do is come in here and say type T of overview. And then we can just change all of this right here to just say a reference to type T. And it's the same exact thing. So the first way we did it is convenient and makes for more concise code in simple cases, whereas what we have implemented now can express more complexity a little bit more clearly. Also, the implementation overview works for straightforward cases. So what I'm referring to now is what we did in the earlier case. So let me go back to that. So the implement overview, let's get rid of the error. The implement overview works for straightforward cases, but is actually just shorthand for a trait bounds. So let's look at some different trait bounds. And I'm just going to have all these commented in. That way we can just kind of see everything side by side. So the first one is going to be if we had the overview function, we had item 1, and it was, implementing in the overview trait, and then item 2 also implements the overview trait. So this allows item 1 and item 2 to be of different types, but we can force them to be of the same type if we wanted to. And that's where the method that we just had comes into play. So we can say overview again, but this time T of overview. And now it's going to be item 1 and T, and then item 2 and T as well. So again, these are the same thing, but this one can have different types, and this one we are making them have to be the same type. And then the last thing we can do is we can have multiple trait bounds, and this is done this way. So we created our function again, we're passing in item 1, and we're going to implement in overview, and then plus, and then our other trait. So plus another trait allows us to have multiple trait bounds. And then just to keep everything uniform, if we wanted to see this in the other way, it would be T overview plus another trait. And then we have item 1 and T, item 2 and T. And that's going to make them have to be of the same type. So with all of that, I just wanted to show you some extra functionality we can use traits for, and I hope it all makes sense. I know we have learned a lot about generics and traits so far in this section, so just take a second to make sure you fully understand everything before continuing on to the next lecture, where we will start talking about utility traits.